President Muhammadu Buhari will be laid to rest. As you can see, the digging of the grave has commenced by members of this community suspected to be close relatives or family members. Entrance into this premises is strictly by a very tight screening, but we could let our viewers know that he will be buried right here in his house. So these are just other pictures of the environment of his house where he will be buried. It will be in a garden not very, very far from the main building, his house. From information we have gathered,
I received the news of his passing on just less than an hour after he died.
Today, Tuesday, they are laying your president or your former president, Muhammadu Buhari, to rest. Just as the Muslim traditions or customs demand that after 3 days, no matter who you are, you will be laid to rest. And today, they are burying your former president, who leave a strong legacy and great footprints behind that we all will remember. Now, I'll be walking you guys through the burial sections or the funeral sections, and so that you guys can watch how they conducted the burial, and the family and the great elites and cabals that hold the Nigeria hostage, all of them that are present, you're going to be watching them in this particular video. So I wouldn't want to be talking in between, but I want you guys to watch the full clip. We'll be right back to do some messages to it.
Well, like every other Nigerian, we have very deep memories of the departed former president. He was indeed a man of vision, a man who promoted unity together with his colleagues in Nigeria. I'm sure all of us will miss him sorely. We are glad that he has lived a good life. We are glad that some of those ideals that he has laid behind will continue. We also call on the younger ones to emulate some of those good qualities of former President Muhammadu Buhari, may his soul rest in peace. And the federal government, as you know, heavily led by President TINUBU, has put in place a solid arrangement for the state funeral. Very soon we're expecting that to kick off. Already you have seen that dignitaries have started coming from across the area. We just saw the Prime Minister of Niger. We saw other dignitaries that have also come. Many of the cabinet members, as directed by Mr. President, are already in Katsina here. About 25 cabinet members are already here to witness this, and we are going to stay put in tomorrow until after the third day prayer. We pray for the repose of the soul of late President Muhammadu Buhari, and we do hope the lessons of this will also help us to come together again in unity and for the progress of Nigeria, like President TINUBU has always preached. And we do hope that going forward, some of the good qualities, like I said earlier, of former President Muhammadu Buhari will be emulated by the younger ones. All we need at this time is prayers for unity, prayers for peace and for the prosperity of the whole country. So as we await the arrival of Mr. President and the arrival of the remains of the former president, we will stay put here and we'll keep you updated.
Of the Federation. Also on that committee, we also have the National Security Advisor, the Minister of Information. I also saw the Minister of Interior and some other top government officials. They have been able to coordinate.
Everybody is coming down the aircraft now. From the pictures we are seeing, the body covered with the Nigerian flag is being brought down from the aircraft. We know that proper protocol is that from now onwards, generals from the rank of Brigadier General will be in charge of the body because he left service as a Brigadier General of the Nigerian Army, and that will be the right protocol. Major General, beg your pardon, Major General, beg your pardon. From now on, it's expected that activities will hasten up because between Katsina and DAURA is about 1 hour, 20 minutes. And the body is supposed to be lowered into the ground just before sunset, and so it's expected things will be hastening up. We see someone we feel is the widow, and that's the point where she can get to, as we have been told by Femi, who understands this better, that the widow wouldn't be around where the body will be interred, and so whatever she would do will be around this moment, and quite a sad moment for the family and the nation at large. Live pictures there from the airport, and we are still seeing dignitaries moving down now. It's expected that the president will come close. From now, we cite the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, side view of him, and the person we are seeing is rear there seems to be the secretary to the government of.
Committal process begins now for former President Muhammadu Buhari. The national flag has been folded and will be handed over to a member of the Buhari family. Right, so this is tradition. This flag is a symbol of Nigeria. It's a national flag, and now being folded in a particular manner according to tradition, and in honor of the man, Muhammadu Buhari, who has served as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, first as military president, and later as democratically elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So once the process is concluded now, that flag,
expect the body to be committed to Mother Earth. And watching this process, of course, is the president and the vice president. We see them seated, waiting for this process to end. So the body.
Yeah, the moment now, the flag is being handed over.
It's been handed over to a member of the family.
Our principal demand, it wasn't attending the Council of State meeting. Once it's in court, he has his eyes fixed on the court, and he appears in court cases all through. That time, I remember Chief Umeoze, one of his lawyers, saying that, look, the man believes in the system, that it's a born-again Democrat. He was described as a born-again Democrat. So in 2007, he followed suit, the same thing, the same pattern, but a lot of Nigerians would say that he was not appealing to the entire country. His candidacy was not appealing to the entire country, that you have to have the spread, as stated in the Constitution, that 24 out of 26.
And a salute to the same member by the military force. This is symbolic, showing respect for the former president. We see the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, approaching the body, the graveside, as the national flag has been handed over. We also see the national flag being removed from the body of the former President, Muhammadu Buhari. I would expect that next is committing the body to Mother Earth.
Indeed, any moment now, the body of former President Muhammadu Buhari would be interred. We see some of the dignitaries standing there around the body. It's quite a busy scene there, but our cameraman is doing his best to give us a shot as close as possible of the process. The body being lowered there.
Well, thank you very much. I received the news of his passing on just less than an hour after he died. And I was very shocked and completely taken aback because it was, of course, it was unexpected. We knew that he had been ill, in and out of hospital, but we never brought such a gravity of issues like death this time on the general. So that shock had not yet left me. It kept reverberating in my system, especially the times we had very closely and worked closely for good 15 years. Of course, I knew General Buhari far back 1975 when he was made the military governor of northeastern state of Nigeria, which was nearly 1/4 of the country, and today comprises the states of Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe. General Buhari had some very close civil servants that worked with him that the nation had, in fact, forgotten. One of such people is the Walen Katagum Alhaji Adamu Aliyu, who was his private secretary. Later, Dr. Mahamud Tukur, not the one in Kaduna, his junior brother, was brought in for some few days as his private secretary. Then he left, and Alhaji Abubakar Mamu was brought in as his private secretary when he was the military governor of northeastern state. And in fact, Alhaji Abubakar Mamu was also throughout his principal private secretary when he was head of state. Of course, those that had worked with him closely, you cannot forget Major Jakolo, who was the immediate past emir of Gondu. These people had worked closely with him more than some of us who worked with him during his political sojourn. And one would remember the general for several positive things. Of course, every human being has got his good and bad side. All of us have that. But I want to make one remark. In our culture, and indeed African culture, people don't speak bad about the dead. And things that had happened in some areas which has been highlighted, people speaking negatively, that is not an African culture, that people could be happy when somebody dies, irrespective of the gravity of what you accuse him of. That has not been a proven cases, and as statesmen, people work frontally and also under the table to stabilize the system. Some of us with whom he had worked closely, because there was a hostile takeover of him from our hands, pray for him, pray for his soul, and wish that God will forgive him of his infractions as a human being, because death is a path. He that died, he has not gone there too fast. And those of us who are alive, we are not late. It's a path that every human must follow. So to this extent, one mourns the demise of General Muhammadu Buhari and has forgiven him of whatever infractions he had on us as individuals or on the polity of the country.
So now you have watched the video. Like I said in my previous video, you should show some kind of respect to this man. But I'm sorry that I'm putting on color riot. This is color black. No, color yellow, color blue, no black, and color pizza. So I have all the color. So it's just like, in as much I'm confused that this man shouldn't have died, would have waited for like 1,000 years because of the money that he took. A man who could took 800 million US dollars 4 months before he left office. A man who took 25 billion to build an hospital in Aso Rock, but took the money and chop it. He eat it and nothing. And a man who took 40 billion to paint and renovate Aso Rock, but he did nothing and he took all the money. And a man that have been abusing power and value cow, colonize Nigerian to become Islamic State and make sure that the Fulani take over every sector and every section of Nigeria. To a man who was trying to force Nigerians and every state governor to give lands to Fulani herdsmen to rear their cattle, or if not, the cattle will keep on going to the streets and destroy property, and you don't have any right to hold those cattle. Cattle under this man becomes first citizen in Nigeria. So we are mourning him because of his great legacy. Everybody said this man have left a great footprint. Thank God, yes, it is true. And the same footprint that he left behind is what President TINUBU continue from. A man that could order a shootout at innocent protesters at Tollgate. Nigeria will never forget Mission 2020, October 20th at night, how the military massacred innocent Nigerians that led to DJ Switch to run exile out in today. Nigeria will never forget how this man sent DSS at the middle of night after Sunday Igboho that took the life of over 5 innocent souls that night. They didn't come to arrest him, they come to assassinate him. Unfortunately, the man ran exile to Benin Republic. What was his wrong? What did he do to offend Nigeria? The man was only trying to protect his country, protect his land from cattle, from Fulani, who were coming to the forest to buy his people, buying farmers. The man took it upon himself to create a security agency to fight and combat it. This man that is laid to rest today said he shouldn't have done that. And he sent DSS, not to arrest him, but to execute him. Let's talk about Nnamdi Kanu. This man that is laid to rest today, the legacy that the elite is trying to let you know that you shouldn't forget is the same legacy that this man sent soldiers to Nnamdi Kanu father's house, or Nnamdi Kanu house, that led to the sudden death of his parent. Massacred a lot of Igbos that day, and Nnamdi Kanu ran exile. It didn't end there. He kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and extradited him back. And up till today, Nnamdi Kanu is still in custody despite winning his case. This man abused the law and made sure that the judge keep Nnamdi Kanu there. This man released a tweet that he will death with Igbo people just as he did far back during the First Civil War. When everybody raised alarm, Twitter deleted that comment. This man banned Twitter for more than 3 months in Nigeria. And this same man is the man, despite all the atrocities and everything and the abuse of power, on how his wife arrested an innocent person for saying Mama have gotten fat for eating Nigerian money. They put that man, that innocent guy, in prison for long. And all of this, despite the money, is gone and is gone and is gone forever. What would you remember President Muhammadu Buhari for today? If there are any other thing you could think of adding to what I've said about him, please put it in the comment section. Death, like I always said since he died, that is inevitable. Including me, including you, including everybody. Everybody will die someday. How long you live on earth does not really matter, but the legacy you left behind is what matters. Everybody today is still talking good about Yaradua. Yaradua only ruled for 2 years, but the legacy he left behind, combined from Obasanjo to Goodluck to Buhari to the current president, TINUBU, have not been able to ascertain the heights which that man gave to Nigeria. Yet, it is not about tribal. We are not trying to be sentimental or trying to say, oh, bigot about, oh, because he's a northerner. Yaradua is also a northerner. We are not from the north, but we adore his humanitarian heart towards Nigeria. But unfortunately, he died, not of his own, but we know that definitely if Nigeria is a country that investigations work, you will know that they kpai him because of the way he was helping the nation. The sickness of that man, which they claim that, okay, took his life, is not even as worst as what kept Buhari in this day, nor TINUBU going right now. Go and watch his past video on how eloquent Yaradua was.
I have confidence that the next constitutional amendment will strip these public officials of this immunity, and I am personally in support of that. So one of the measures we are going to take already, apart from the work the anti-corruption agencies are, is to have corruption monitors. This is an instrument that would help people train monitors attached to public officials. We are going to begin first with the president, the vice president, the ministers in the cabinet, the state governors, so that these monitors will be trained in the art of investigation. They will have access by law to the asset declaration forms. They will have access by law to their accounts. They will have access by law to their spouses' accounts and so on, so that highly placed public officials will be monitored. Their assets, properties will be monitored to follow what they are doing in terms of acquiring of illegal wealth while in office. Now, this is an extreme measure, but the situation in Nigeria actually demands this. The other aspect that we are going to introduce, all violations and disrespect for due process would be sanctioned.
But unfortunately, they shot his life. They took it because they don't want him to fix the country. So people just want to benefit from this country and keep on benefiting and put Nigeria in abject poverty. Welcome to Nigeria, where the elite is being voted to make sure they keep Nigeria in perpetual bondage. Make sure that nobody breathes. Even the poor that they campaign about that you should let them breathe, they are the ones suffocating them. We rest our case here, but I'll be waiting for you in the comment section to read your own opinion regarding to the sudden death of President Muhammadu Buhari. What is your message to Nesirinke, Akpabio, and TINUBU? What would be before them? What would Nigeria remember them for if they died too? That is my case in this particular video. All right, I love you guys. God love you more. Until we meet again in our next video. Peace out.
Be presented as the mouthpiece mentioned. Okay.
So there were two flags.
Yeah.
Or there were two flags on top. One has been presented to the family. The other was just to drape it, perhaps for the sake of dignity. But we know that according to Islamic rites, he can only be buried in a white piece of cloth. So that last piece of flag has been taken off, and now you can see the dignitaries around the final resting place led by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Of course, President TINUBU is looking on from a distance there, but is not directly by the graveside. We can see the Vice President there, and it appears that the final prayers will be said as his body is being lowered into the grave, the final resting place. We already saw that tiny, I'm not sure what the measurement is, but it does look like 6 by 1 foot, where that final body, that body will be laid to rest in finality in Mother Earth. You can see it as it's been lowered into that resting place, Sean.
Interesting indeed. Like I said, a combination of two different traditions, Islamic rites of burial passage and the military funeral procedures in burying their own dead. So this is what we have seen. Usually when the military buries their own, one of their own, they put the citation is being read, the gun salute, and the bugle is being played, showing a final respect, and then the flag is being unveiled on the body of the dead and handed over to a member of the family. All these have been done, and the chief imam is the one who will coordinate the final committal to Mother Earth, and that's what we're seeing live right now.
Sure, I think one of the things that also sticks out here is the fact that we can see on the side there, because after he's been lowered into Mother Earth, you can see that there are a number of paraphernalia right beside it, sticks and mats, which will be used to cover that final resting place. And it would seem that in Islam, no matter who you are, that is just how you're going to be laid to rest. It's not the
simplicity.
Yes, it's not dependent on your status in life. It does appear that it will be something as simple as sticks and a mat.
Yeah, there is a status to bury the dead. You assume that status as long as you are a Muslim and you decide to be buried in the Islamic way. That is the status. Your status as human breathing, as soon as you're dead, this is what happens according to Islamic rite. And it shows the stark simplicity of life, the circle of life, the sheer humanity in when the life is out of the human body, and a lot of things that happen when a man breathes his last. So this is the moment we have all been waiting for, the final interment of the Nigeria's former president, Muhammadu Buhari. They call him, some call him Baba, some call him Megaskia, some call him say Buhari. Whatever it is to you, whoever it may appear to you, this is the man that you cannot dispute the fact that he was a general in the army, former head of state, two-term Nigeria's elected president, who died at the age of 82. And before sunset, he's been buried in the hometown where he was born in DAURA, Katsina State.
Indeed, Sean, the time as we speak is 5:53 p.m. local time, and you'll see that the sticks are finally being put, the sticks that had been on the side are finally being put across that final resting place. They will be covered with the mat, perhaps also with the sand we also see there, and that is the note of finality to this life lived with passion for Nigeria, lived with devotion to the unity of Nigeria. For those who have sent in their tribute to a man who has taught us a lesson in resilience and not giving up easily on the hopes that you have for your country. Now, as we have earlier highlighted, whether or not he was able to live up to the ideals which a lot of Nigerians had believed, the jury will still be out. I guess that will be discussed for many days and weeks to come, or perhaps even years, when history has been considered. Usually the prayer is that history be kind to you. Yeah. But as we see right now, the final rites being done, the sticks have now been laid across, and the mats are now being put on that final resting place, soon to be covered with earth and perhaps that will be it for, what we know for the Islamic burial rites?
Of course, some of the processes in an Islamic burial is such that the body is carried to the burial site. Of course, we've seen that often in a silent procession with only men traditionally allowed to attend the burial. And oftentimes the graves is dug perpendicular to Mecca. The body is placed on his right side facing the holy city, and each mourner, he says, placed 3 handfuls of soil into the grave, and there is a marker which we have seen is placed to identify the grave without elaborate designs. And in all of this is the fact that when gathering at the designated area, there are about 3 rows of typically form at least 3 rows with men in front, followed by children, and then women at the back. So Islamically speaking, women are not allowed in proximity too close. Men in front, children followed in that row, in that order,